Hi, I'm Nancy Coen. I'm here representing Sons.Global. We've had a big response to all of our YouTube videos, but it seems like we're getting an influx of multitudes of different questions. So for the next several YouTube videos, we're going to address several of those questions so that you can get the answer to the thing that's really on your heart. The one that we're going to talk about today is the difference between the gift of prophecy and the spirit of prophecy. The word says, the sons, that's us, though we are heir to all things, because we are joint heirs to the kingdom of heaven with Jesus, everything that he has is ours by adoption of sons. Even though we are joint heirs, we're still subject to teachers and tutors and guides that are put over us, until we grow up into the fullness of maturity, at which time the Father grants to us the fullness of our inheritance. In the age of the church, we were subject to teachers and tutors and guides called the fivefold ministry. That would be apostles, prophets, pastors, teachers, evangelists. As we move into the new age that we're now stepping into, called the age of the kingdom, our teachers and tutors and guides cease to be the fivefold ministry and become the seven spirits that are before the throne. The operation of the gift of prophecy is something that I operated in solidly for 35 years, and it really threw open so many international doors. I could just give days and days of testimonies of the power that resides in the gift of prophecy. For instance, in Islamic nations, which I've been to every Islamic nation but two in the whole world, you can quote scripture all you want, but all you're going to get is a solid concrete wall. If you can take their hand and you can tell them verbatim the conversation they had with their mother in their bedroom when they were 8 years old, you get their attention quite quickly. So the gift of prophecy has been something that has been very instrumental, even in my own life. But in the year 2000, the Lord said, I want you to set aside the operation in the gift of prophecy now, because there's a higher order of that called the spirit of prophecy. And I'd like to just tell you the difference between these two. Number one, the gift of prophecy operates by permissive will. That means the person receiving the prophecy must actually embrace the words as being from God and be willing to activate those words to fulfill the prophecy in their own life. Second, the gift of prophecy is temporal, and the word says it is going to pass away. If you go to 1 Corinthians 13 and 1 Corinthians 15, it says the gift of prophecy will pass away. The only thing that will remain is faith, hope, and love. So the gift of prophecy operates in the temporal or the earthly realm. Secondarily, it's because it operates by permissive will, the Lord gives us permission to function in that, but everything that functionality produces has to do with the intensity of our own desire to fulfill that prophetic word. The spirit of prophecy functions under totally different paradigms. Number one, it is activated by sovereign will. And what that means is it's going to be fulfilled whether we agree with it or not. A perfect example of that would be Jonah. When Jonah received a word from the Lord, I want you to go to Nineveh, he said, like heck I will. They stoned the prophets there. And so he turned and he went in an opposite direction. And the Lord said, well, fine then. Just have your way. I'll just raise up a big fish. And while Jonah was down in the belly of the whale and his head is being wrapped in seaweed and he's gasping for his very last breath and his skin is being digested by the digestive juices of the whale, all of a sudden, Nineveh looked like a real good idea. The issue is that gift or that spirit of prophecy was given to Jonah for the redemption of an entire geographical territory, where the gift of prophecy is generally individual. It's to edify, encourage, lift up, and prepare the individual who is receiving that. The spirit of prophecy is something that is all encompassing, and it's for the purposes of redeeming or changing or rearranging an entire geographical territory. Secondarily, because it operates by sovereign will, it's eternal. And that means it's not ever going to pass away. It is going to be fulfilled. The word says in the book of Revelation that the spirit of testimony is Jesus Christ. Therefore, when Jesus came, he was going to fulfill his purpose no matter what kind of circumstances he found himself in. Even his own disciples tried to discourage him from going to Jerusalem because he told them, when I go there, I'm going to be rejected of the priests. I'm going to be crucified. And they said, no, no, Lord, let it not be so. Rather go another way. And he spun around and he looked right at his own hand-picked disciples and said, get thee behind me, Satan. Now, he wasn't speaking to them exactly. He was speaking to the spirit that was trying to defer or detour or to change the plan and the purpose of for which Jesus came to the earth, which was to go to the cross and be crucified. So that produced what I call eternal benefit for all of mankind. It wasn't something that was limited to the earthbound gravitational pull of the earth. It was something that would produce eternal fruit that would last forever. And of course, what he gave would last forever. Another thing about the spirit of prophecy is it's very, very governmental. And because it is sovereignly initiated, it carries the capacity to really govern over a circumstance or a situation and to take authority, which is what the Lord is now encouraging us to step out and step up and step into the authority that we were created to function with, which is dominion. This is something the Lord is now doing in the earth, and we're in a state of preparation to take back our primordial position as creatures of light. If you want to know more about that, go to our teaching on sons.global called The Seventh Day Transfiguration. When Jesus said, the things that I do, you will do also, and indeed greater things than I have done will you do, he actually meant that. That was John 14:12. We're now stepping out of a minimized capacity or a lower level of function into receiving and stepping into the fullness of our inheritance. This is the most dynamic day ever in the history of all humanity. Another misconception that people have about the difference between the gift of prophecy and the spirit of prophecy is they don't understand the position or the seat of prophecy. I used to have people all the time call me and say, hey, we're having a prophetic school and our kids have gone to school now for six weeks or 6 months learning how to prophesy. Can you come and set them in as prophets? And I just laughed and I said, well, I really can't do that. Because just because someone prophesies doesn't mean they're a prophet. And in fact, the word says in 1 Corinthians 13, we can all prophesy. 14 and 15, we should all prophesy one to another. But just because somebody prophesies does not mean that they're a prophet, even if they're extremely accurate. The prophet is a governmental seat, and it's something that comes only by election. You can't really be trained to be a prophet. You're either born a prophet or you're not a prophet. I told these people, I said, if you have a school of 600 people and there's one prophet, real prophet in your midst, you'll be very, very fortunate. So the difference is you can learn how to prophesy and you can be 100% accurate. Doesn't mean you sit in the office of a prophet. And number two, when you step out of the operation of the gift of prophecy, which is temporal, and step into the operation of the spirit of prophecy, which is eternal, the governmental impact that comes out of your voice actually goes above and beyond anything that you will ever experience in the operation of the gift of prophecy. I have many, many, many hundreds of testimonies of entire geographical territories that have been changed when the spirit of prophecy operates instead of the minimized function of the gift. This is one of the questions that everybody asks. What's the difference between the gift and the spirit of prophecy? I hope this has helped you a little with your answers. We also have teachings on sons.global that talk about prophetic sight for the kingdom age. If you would like to know more about that, go to sons.global. We have about 60 teachings on there that will probably not be presented or talked about that much on YouTube because they're for people that have been regular ascenders with our network. But anyway, I just want to thank you all for joining me today. Come back again and hear some more teaching on to answer the questions that you guys are sending into our office. We want to thank you for your questions. Jesus always would answer a question with a question. And the more questions that you have, the more intense it shows your desire to seek the truth is greater and greater. God bless you and have a great day today. We look forward to seeing you all on the next YouTube video.